The Lord is our shepherd, I shall not want. Him maketh I lie down in a green pastures. Him leadeth I beside still water. Them him restored I soul. Him leadeth I in the path of righteousness for him name's sake. Yea! The heathen them now, they saw them there like a chaff, which the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never will turn upon judgment of the sin among them in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous, and the way of the sin among them always and always I will perish. Let the people of the Most High God say, Jah! Kadama we groma beya tela exact beer tanaista lena ba shante 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 shante. Where two and three meet in the name of the Most High Jah, and that's so Jaja there. If Jaja never build up your house, the builder I go build it in vain. Same way, if Jaja never watch upon your house, the watchman I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it, and them is safe. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. And I give thanks and I says unto your name, King of Kings, a lot of loss. The conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah. Amasa Yahuda, Amasa Negusto Negusto Daniel. Members say, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High Jah shall therein abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Our mouse of Bolisa. I don't know what talk. It was a sick player for. Our mouse of Bolisa. Akpe. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonamo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk RASTA. In every traditional African home there is a Blakk Pot. Each time the Blakk Pot is food, need for ingredients of so many different colors, shapes, sizes, and even aromas, to put aside all their differences and relocate in the Blakk Pot for the food to be made. Now, does not even benefit the ingredients, neither does it benefit the Blakk Pot. It only benefits us, those who eat the food. Yet that collaboration between the Blakk Pot and the ingredients would always happen. Now think about it. The Blakk Pot represents the continent of Africa. And the ingredients in the Blakk Pot represent us as a people. Selflessly, we must all come out, put aside all our differences of creed, faith, religion, and even shade of skin color, and come together to collaborate so we'll be able to produce development for our people, our continent, our land. We must be that tree planting generation. Yes, we will not live long enough, the shade of the tree, or even benefit from the fruits of the tree. But does it really matter? Our children and children's children, their children, will come and benefit that. We are so excited about planting pepper, planting maize, one season crops. We eat, we sleep, we die, we are buried, and we are forgotten all in one season. It's time now to be that Joshua generation, tree planting generation. On this program, we do what is known as patriotism, no politics. We don't criticize. If we must criticize, we will just criticize to build and not to destroy. That's why we call it the Blakk Pot. It represents the continent of Africa. Kukushonamo. And today we have a number of things to discuss with you. Remember, this is the show that deals with the mindset. If the African mindset is right, every other thing will be righted. Concentrate too much in building the roads and the hospitals without building upstairs. We need to build our mentalities. When the mentality is right, the mindset is right, every other will be right. We are live on Pan-African TV, Africa's only Pan-African TV. We are also live on Loud Silence TV. We are live on Ghana Web TV and live on Black Empire TV. Via the power of satellite, we are seen all over the continent of Africa and even the whole globe. That's why you must do business with us. Our numbers are scrolling on the screen. Pick up the numbers and do business with us. Call us anytime. Send us a WhatsApp message. What business are you into? How do you want to advertise it? Where do you want it to reach? We are here for you. Your wish is our commander. And of course, we are also on YouTube. Our name is Black Empire Media. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. We need all the to grab the whole of Africa with our message. Remember, we promise that our message would always be positive, as it's always been. Black Empire Media is our name, and we are 1 year young. Yes. Our YouTube page is Black Empire Media. Please make sure that you subscribe to that page and click on the notification button so that you will never miss any of our stories. This is how we begin today's show on the Black Pot, aka Kuku Show no more. Now, the very first story we are looking at today is rolling on your screens. It looks like it has something to do with Afrobeats. Afrobeats swallows up African music. Now, remember, it's spelled Afrobeats. Now, the original Afrobeat without the S at the end was initiated, invented, and manufactured by great Fela Anikulapo Kuti. In fact, he gave us Afrobeat. And Afrobeat combined jazz with African music and gave us that wonderful flavor. Fela himself had studied abroad. He studied music. And when he came back, he decided that he didn't want to do any other thing but music. And he succeeded with his brand of music known as Afrobeat. Now, Afrobeat, the original one by Fela, has its strong roots in Ghanaian high life, undisputed. In fact, Fela himself came to Ghana to study high life music. He used to move from band to band. Very, very smart gentleman. And he picked up the rudiments. When you read Fela, you would get to understand. And I recommend a book, Fela, The Beach of Life. It's one of the books. In it, he said, I was in Ghana, the land of Pan-Africanism. Fela did not only see Ghana as the land of high life music, he also saw it as the land of Pan-Africanism, especially with Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, who took a lot of inspiration also from Zik, that's Nnamdi Azikiwe, the great one, and many other such people. You can never leave out the great Marcus Garvey. When Fela was in Ghana, he picked up the high life. The smart, creative Fela that he was, boxed it in with American jazz, boxed it in with African music, and boof, he made it happen. The newer generation of Fela, they also came out and decided to add the S to the Afrobeat, and now we have Afrobeats. It has almost the same feeling. Most of Fela's music would go with 2 kick drums, kick, 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 just like that. But this one, most of the time, would go with just 1. But he has other flavors that are so reminiscent of the original Afrobeat. And it has taken over the world. Jamaicans are crying that Afrobeat is swallowing up reggae and dancehall. But every genre of music has its time. There was a time reggae was all over the place. Reggae, remember, is not only about the sound you hear. It's also about the spirituality. Yes, we had a few people who came into reggae and brought in a lot of slackness, what we call profanity. But reggae music still stands tall. Dancehall in Jamaica started off becoming very boisterous, braggadocio. But along the line, it got into violence. It got so much into scam music. And today in Jamaica, dancehall is almost nothing to write home about. It's all about scamming. It's all about molly and so on and so forth. Today, there's a gentleman who knows Ghana music quite much. He's also the deputy minister of the creative arts, culture, and all that. Mark Okrekumante. And Mark Okrekumante has made a very, very important observation. Let's check it out. Watch this. Afrobeats. Nigeria is reaping where it hasn't sown. Okrekumante. Hey, this headline is an uppercut. Come here. Let's read. It says, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Okrekumante, has said Nigeria is reaping from the hard work of Ghana and other African nations because of the Afrobeats name given to all music coming out of sub-Saharan Africa. Wow, what an observation. Now, the famed music executive and politician said this on Accra-based Joy FM morning show, Tuesday, March 7, 2023. Mr. Okrekumante cited an instance in Dubai where a shop attendant mistook Ghanaian hip life star Bisake Day for a Nigerian. The man was Moroccan and he thought the music was from Nigeria, he said. And I have experienced a lot of these things where Ghanaian hard work is going to Nigeria, he added, explaining that it is the case because Nigeria makes so much noise such that there is a perception that every music you hear from Africa is from Nigeria. Mr. Okrekumante opined that Ghana made a mistake accepting that we are also performing under the Afrobeats genre. Furthermore, he asserted that the very name Afrobeats in plural form readily reminds the world of Nigerian Fela Kuti's Afrobeat legacy. The word Afrobeat itself was coined by Fela Anikulapo Kuti years ago without an S. So the moment you hear Afrobeat, the owner of that word is Fela. Then over time, the West said Africa has too many rhythms, so why don't you call all of them African rhythms? He said. In Mr. Okrekumante's opinion, Nigerians were quick to adopt the Afrobeats name for their music to cunningly distinguish their music from Ghana's and position themselves competitively. Because we Ghanaians were known for high life and we are bullying them as the Nigerians with our high life, quickly they opted for the Afrobeats, he said. Unfortunately, my Ghanaian brothers and sisters went to join them, he stressed. They don't know that all their hard work is actually going to Nigeria because of the perception about Afrobeats and Nigeria. He buttressed his point with another anecdote. I heard Kamido's song in Tanzania, Arusha, and people around thought it was from Nigeria. He narrated. That is why Nigeria is getting the buzz they are getting. Everybody is thinking that almost all the music you hear from Africa now is from Nigeria. And we credit Class FM Online for that, even though published on Ghana Web. Oh, you are. Now let's break it down. Come here. Hear me now. Anytime you hear reggae music, people don't think about the artist. They think about the country of origin, Jamaica. And if you even add the reggae dressing to it like I'm dressed right now, there are many people who would see you and say you are Jamaican. I've tasted that time and again. The moment they hear the Kuchoko rhythm, choko, kuchoko boom, choko, kuchoko boom, choko, kuchoko boom, choko, kuchoko boom, Jamaica. I have encountered so many people on the streets of America who started talking to me about going to Jamaica, thinking that I'm from Jamaica. I have seen so many festivals that decided to put me on because they felt that I was Jamaican. Only for them to get to realize that no, this is an African. Yes, Jamaicans are Africans. In fact, majority of Jamaicans are Africans. And if majority carries the vote, then Jamaica is African. Of course, we understand that we have Chinese and Indians in Jamaica. But the majority of the people there are from Africans because of the transatlantic slave trade. We all know that history. Let's not bore ourselves with that. All of a sudden, Nigeria came up. When I was in Nigeria a few years back, they called their kind of music, their popular music, hip-hop. And I didn't see anything hip-hop about it. Hip-hop. They say hip-hop. The way the average Nigerian even pronounces hip-hop, in fact, is so indigenous. But they kept doing it. Idris Abdul Karim, P Squared, they boxed all of them into the hip-hop thing until the newer generation came up with Afrobeats. Now hip-hop is forgotten in Nigeria. The music that used to be called hip-hop by P Squared and the rest, today they are all boxed into Afrobeats with the S. That's how it is. When there is a certain wave that is so strong it carries the vote, every other thing succumbs to that force. I'll tell you some interesting story. Recently, I made a song that I wanted to be heard in Canada and America. And there was a label that was interested in signing that music. So I sent it to them. They labeled it under Afrobeat. There was nothing Afrobeat about it. The song is called Daru Daru. It's online. D-A-A-R-O. D-A-A-R-O. Daru Daru. That's what it is. But the fact that it's from Africa is Afrobeats. Right now, every genre of music from Africa is regarded in the West as Afrobeats. Same way, if you are doing hip-hop, everybody is thinking about America. Today, bongo flavor, Zulu music, all these are seen as Afrobeats. And Makokreku Mante says it's because Nigeria makes so much noise about it. Noise in the positive sense, he meant. Hear me now, let me say something interesting. You see, if you can't beat them, you join them, they say. Nigeria was blowing up the whole place with the Afrobeats. Everywhere in Africa, people were playing Nigerian music. They sacrificed and branded it right. Now they are enjoying the fruits of that labor. I know a Ghanaian brethren of mine who is half Nigerian. He's never shown that side of him. That, oh, I am half Nigerian. The moment Afrobeats came and was so strong, all of a sudden, he has changed his Ghanaian name to the Nigerian side. He says, after all, my people are now blowing, so I'm part of them. There's a strong wave. Afrobeats has its genre. Africa has too many rhythms for everything to be boxed under Afrobeat. It will be an insult. But the reality is that that is what it is. How can we break away positively and let other people understand that there are other rhythms in Africa and they all have very beautiful names, like High Life, like Bongo Flavor. In Zimbabwe, they have their kind of dancehall which they call the Zim dancehall. There is Zulu music, and there is more. How can we break away from the tag of Afrobeats? Right now, if you are in the West and they ask you what kind of music you are doing from Africa, and you don't mention Afrobeats, forget it. Nobody knows what you're doing. But before Afrobeats, there were so many big African acts who were making it big. Even Chaka Chaka was there. From Benin, we had Angelique Kidjo. Listen, people get so entitled to what they have created. For instance, Jamaica. Anybody who does reggae music and is not Jamaican A lot of Jamaicans never see you as authentic. It's the same way in Ghana. You can play high life as if you were God or the God of high life. As long as you are not Ghanaian, it's hard for Ghanaians to accept you as a high life singer or producer. In Jamaica, it's the same thing. Jamaicans are even more very radical about it. Hardly will Jamaicans book a reggae artist who is outside Jamaica. Even Jamaican artists who do not live in Jamaica, but live outside Jamaica, and our reggae acts are hardly recognized by Jamaicans. True? It's all part of the branding. I am excited about Afrobeats. I like what is coming out. I like the versatility. I like the singing style. I like what is happening with Afrobeats. But I do not like it when it is said that all the music in Africa will come under Afrobeats. No, sir, it's an insult. Afrobeat is a baby as compared to high life. Afrobeat is a little baby as compared to bongo flavor. Afrobeat is a little grand to the umpteenth time son of Zulu music. Traditional Hausa music. Today, everything is boxed under Afrobeat. No, sir. We can do better than that. How can we do that? Simple. Let us make it clear. If you are not an Afrobeats artist, make it clear. All we need right now is another genre of African music to blow it up big. Support the other genres of African music. Blow it up big time. Once we have a big hit here, another big hit there, and we brand it. Remember, branding is very important. Nigerians branded Afrobeat. Kudos. Today, whatever music we do, especially when we sing in pidgin or in our local dialect, is Afrobeat. We need hits in other genres. Two, we need to brand that. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushunamo. And I'm glad we started on a musical note. It's going to get more serious. This is the show. It's called the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushunamo. We are masters of Pan-Africanism on TV. Next. What does it say? Watch it. Healthcare for African footballers in focus. There is a gentleman called Didier Drogba. In fact, he led his nation, the Ivory Coast, to several feats in the past. Amid some controversies about some malfeasance with money and all that in recent times. But this was the guy everybody looked up to. Didier Drogba played for Chelsea. He played for some other wonderful teams. Remember, he had that ponytail? In fact, I didn't like that ponytail at all because it made him look like, a woman, kind of. So I didn't really like it. But he used it to get a lot of attention. Today, that ponytail is gone. Abedi Pele and the rest all had ponytails and all that. Players have a way of getting the attention of the people. This is Didier Drogba. He's lamenting about something. What is it? Didier Drogba calls for compulsory medical visits after footballers' death in Ivory Coast. So by all means, you have to go for medical visits. What does he mean by that? And this is from My Joy Online. Run it! Chelsea legend Didier Drogba has called for better medical checks to protect footballers in his native Ivory Coast after the death of a player during a top flight game. Racing Club d'Abidjan RCA defender Mustafa Silla, 21, collapsed during the match against Seoul FC on Sunday and was pronounced dead on the way to the hospital, according to his club. Video of the incident shows Silla stumbling before losing his balance and falling to the ground motionless near the center circle, prompting opposition players to call for medical assistance. RCA President Lagosina Cisse described Silla as a rising star that left too soon, while the Ivorian Football Federation, FIF, led tributes on social media. In his moment of pain and emotion, FIF extends its deepest condolences to the family of the deceased, to the managers and players of RCA, as well as to the Ivorian football family, FIF wrote on Facebook. Patrice Motsepe, president of the Confederation of African Football, also expressed his shock at the tragic passing of such a young life who showed promise on the football field. Silla won the 2022 Malian title with Joliba AC before joining RCA in September. When will sports medicine arrive? Reacting to the death, former Ivorian captain Drogba demanded that players be offered more medical attention by footballing authorities. Condolences to Ivorian footballer, wrote Drogba, who last year lost a bid to run football in the Ivory Coast and whose international teammate Sheikh Tioti died following a cardiac arrest in China back in 2017. 3 details of Ivorian professional league players in less than 4 years. Where are the compulsory medical visits for each professional player? The blood tests, the ECGs, the stress tests. When will sports medicine arrive? Another death in South Africa. Meanwhile, football fans in South Africa are also mourning the passing of a top-flight player. Richards Bay midfielder Shifamandla Ntolo collapsed during training on Tuesday. Dash it away. We also remember in Nigeria, the Super Eagles RASTA head player, as they say, the dreadlock player of the Super Eagles, also collapsed and died. We all remember, don't we? What Drogba is saying is very simple. Every football authority in Africa, he is just talking about the Ivory Coast, must make sure that all his players, both international and local, come home at a special time for medical checkup. All of them. It doesn't matter what team you play for, whether you are in Europe or in Africa, everybody must come, both local and foreign. So you'll be checked, and your medical status checked up and given to your team. Now, this is important. This is why I chose it. African players never see themselves to be playing football until they leave the shores of Africa. They are all doing so well to go to Europe and play football there. If they don't play in Europe, then they are not playing football. We all know that, right? Come here. We all know that. When they go there, they kill themselves more. They are overworked. They do not want to lose anything, so they kill themselves. They are almost like slaves. When you go out there and you are so much in a hurry to prove your worth, sometimes you forget your health. And these are the things that end up taking our lives. My brother, what Drogba has said is very important. Now, the Ghana Football Association, GFA, or is it an authority? Ghana Football Authority. Do we have that kind of policy? Or the fact that we have our players playing in Europe, we leave their health and everything to the Europeans. Remember, they were sold out of this country. we also have an interest in keeping them alive. Think about it. This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonam. When we return, we'll talk some more. Hey! Wayo!
Blakk Pot, Kukushonam.
This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonam, and here we speak truth to power to all the African players who lost their lives. Those from the Ivory Coast, and of course those from outside the Ivory Coast, including Samuel Okwaraji of Nigeria Super Eagles. He died whilst playing. We have had other players like that who died on the field. We all remember. Rest in peace. Come here. Next story. The next story. KNUST foreign students. Ghanaian families. Bring a comma between foreign students and Ghanaian families. So this is my university, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Right now, foreign students admitted by the university are going to be giving Ghanaian families. Wow. In fact, we've had that happen in America and some other parts of the world. The man who taught me English language and to who I give so much glory, Mr. Mens, what's his name? Fifi Mens. I love him. He passed on only last year. May his body, mind, and soul rest in perfect peace. He taught me English language, made me get to love grammar, and he used to encourage me to write. He took special interest in me. Mr. Mens went to America as a student. The college that admitted him immediately gave him to an American family. Oh my God. So he lived with the family, ate with the family, slept with the family, did everything with the family. There was no discrimination. I remember when he first told us this story, we couldn't believe it. A black man goes to America. If at all you're looking for a family for this black man, find a black family. No, this was a white family. Beautiful. Black people and white people living together. This story is going to be interesting. Mr. Mens. Next time I will show you his photograph. Not today. I don't want to shed tears. He taught me English language at T. Ahmadiyya Secondary School. We used to call him Kozi Wanjinzi. Kozi Wanjinzi. I will explain to you what that means later. Those who speak Fanti, they know what that means. It's not everything you hear in a story that is the truth. Kozi Wanjinzi. Anasi stories, you don't believe them. You only use them to advise yourself, empower yourself, and get to the realism that is expected of you. Mr. Mens got to America, got an American family. He would go to school. On vacation, he will come home and be with his family. His family will visit him whilst he was in school. The family that already had one child or two children would come with the whole family. They would embrace him and they would call him brother. Share the same food. When Christmas came, Everybody was treated equally. Listen to what happened now. When he finished school and came home to Ghana to join his real parents, he saw that there was a difference. You see, no matter how much you love your child, if you don't have the means, the money, your little child would always think that you don't love him. Christmas comes, there's pressure on parents. They buy all sorts of things for their children. But this is a poor man who has nothing. When this child sees other children playing with toys and saying that their parents bought these for them, and they didn't get anything, no child ever believes that his father is poor. No child. Every child thinks that the father is God. Every child believes that the father will protect him and that the father is stronger than everybody in the world. True? I remember there was a time when I was in school. There was a little boy who was asleep. And some careless students went to frighten the child. If you say, oh, if you say, hey, if you say, it means the world is coming to an end. Look, the whole place, everywhere is burning. The little 4-year-old boy, when he woke up, said, Papa, take me to my father. If the world is getting destroyed, take me to my father. Of course, in reality, if the world is getting destroyed, your father himself is looking for a place to hide himself. But he said, take me to my father. That's how every child perceives the father. That's why every father, every mother, no matter what, must show love and protect the child. Mr. Mens came home and realized that the American family, wow. You know what happened finally? He thought in Ghana they were still in contact, writing each other. Even when one of the daughters of the family was getting married, oh, blah, blah, blah. Then the school invited him again to come and give a speech after about 30 years of finishing school. And when he went, the family had grown so old, but they embraced, they were so happy. And he didn't want to come home again. He stayed in America. Yes, he did. My brother, sometimes you would have so much love from a family that is not your biological family that will be more than the love that you get from your own family. I'm not saying that's the case with Mr. Mens, but that's what we get sometimes. In fact, I'm happy about this KNUST thing. Very happy. Now it's going the other way around. It's white people who normally take African people and some other such people into their families. Yet when it comes to the family values that we love so much, it's Africa. It's a paradox. We are so much interested in family. Our great-great-great-grandfather, my grandfather's uncle, sisters, auntie. We know all this. In America, it's all about a nuclear family. Father, mother, and children, finished. We have the extended family system. Our uncles, brothers, sisters, aunties, sisters, cousins, auntie is coming to pay a visit. They will make sure that everybody vacates their room so that this visitor can go in there, the stranger. Yet, we don't really show these family values when we have students coming. So now that the Americans are coming, the British, the Japanese, let us embrace them. They will put them in families. I don't know how the university is going to pick up those families. Are they going to be at random? Or they want families to write to the university and say, okay, we are ready to take one person here in our family. We are capable. We have a room. The university would go down there and check and see, okay, they actually have a room here. They have the facilities, blah, blah, blah. They have money that can also take care of the person who is coming in. Because you need all that. You need all that. How many Ghanaian families will be ready to bring in these people to be part of them? Will they be genuine? Or it will be in their minds, oh, this one is from America. If he comes and joins us, then ultimately we become Americans too. After all, this is supposed to be our child, part of our family. So the following day, we are all getting visas to go to America. This is the reality. Let's check it. We will be rejecting foreign students from Somalia. And we want foreign students from America, from England. Watch it. You'll be shocked. Families will write to the university and say, yo, we are ready to take students who come in, foreign students. Some of them will specify that they want Americans, British, and maybe Japanese. They don't want people from Somalia, nobody from South Sudan, nobody at all, even from Afghanistan. When we do that, we are defeating the very fiber of the family. There's no love. It will become shishi, shishi, sika, shika, shika. Give me the story. We're just going to look at the headline. Watch the story. As published, it says KNUST, that's the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, international students to stay with Ghanaian families. International students at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, will have the opportunity to stay in Ghanaian family homes. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Akosua Dixon, said it will help in smooth integration into the Ghanaian cultural setting. Dash it away. That's what we said, right? But what is the criterion? How would they do that? Bring back the story. What is the criterion? How will they be able to choose which member they should send to which family? I have spoken with IPO and DOSA. We will get the opportunity for some of you who want to spend some weeks in Ghanaian family homes. You will stay with faculty or any family we will recommend, so that you can be in the various communities and homes, so that you can experience the other side of Ghanaian hospitality. Professor Dixon was speaking at the 2023 Akwaba Night, KNUST international students to stay with Ghanaian families. She told the people. So they haven't told us the criteria. See what I was talking about? No criterion. They said families that they will recommend. Are they going to advertise it now? If you want to be part of the project, do this, do that. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushono. When we return, more fire. Hey! Wayo!
Blakk, Coco Show, man.
This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushono, and here we speak truth to power. Remember that our numbers are scrolling on your screens. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Numbers are scrolling on the screens. Do business with us. You make money, we make money. We are seen all over the world. This is the biggest show on TV when it comes to Pan-Africanism. Here we deal with the mindset, changing the African mindset for a better Africa. We are just 1 year old. We have several more years ahead of us. Together, we can build Africa. Yes. Remember to also subscribe to our YouTube page. It's called the Black Empire Media. Click on the notification button so you will not lose any of the stories that we bring up. Next story. The next story we're looking at says what? Watch it. It says slavery, shame to the Church of England. Hey, did the Church of England play a role in slavery? The Church of England. The Church of England. Did it play a role in slavery? But who is this saying Shame to the Church of England for slavery. Oh, I know this man. Is he not the priest of Canterbury or something like that? His face is very familiar. Why is he saying this? Let's look at the story. Slavery is to the Church of England's eternal shame, permanent shame. Archbishop of Canterbury. Oh yes, I got it right. Archbishop, I said priest of Canterbury. But this is the Archbishop of Canterbury. After Cape Coast Castle visit. That is him in the Cape Coast dungeon, holding the wall and praying. I'm sure he's peeing on himself. What does the story say? The Archbishop of Canterbury on February 15, 2023 visited a 17th century castle on Ghana's Cape Coast, where enslaved Africans were held before being transported to the Americas on British slave ships. Did you hear that? The Americans were so much involved in slavery. The British, colonialism, they are two different things. Slave trade, one. Transatlantic slave trade, two. Colonialism, neo-colonialism, that's the order. Some of the countries came in later. But watch this. He was joined by the Anglican primates of West Africa and the West Indies, who then joined the Archbishop at a service of the reflection and reconciliation at nearby Christ Church Anglican Cathedral. Originally built by the Swedish in the 1650s, Cape Coast Castle passed into Danish, Dutch, and then English possessions by the 1660s, when it became the headquarters of British colonial administration for Gold Coast, the Gold Coast colony. Over the course of the 18th century, most of Cape Coast Castle trade, Castle's trade was in African captives bound for the Americas, where they were enslaved. Throughout the 18th century, the castle served as a grand emporium of the British slave trade. Did you hear that? Throughout the 18th century, that's from 1700 all the way down to 1799. That is what is referred to as the 18th century. British Emporium for slave trade. During the tour of the Archbishop, accompanied by Mrs. Caroline Welby, visited the basement dungeons known as slave holes, where Africans taken from their homes, sometimes hundreds of miles away, were held with little ventilation and no windows before being transported across the Atlantic. The Archbishop paused to pray in silence in a small basement prison cell where up to 200 men were kept. Underneath was then a church. There was a church. Why is the Archbishop of Canterbury cursing the Church of England? The British took over. There was a church instituted by the Church of England praying for slaves before they left. And they also prayed for the slave traders to catch more slaves. There was a queen of Ireland and Great Britain. She was called Queen Anne. She was the queen of slaves. This dirty woman here. She had 17 pregnancies. The dirty woman there. 17 pregnancies. 12 of them all ended up in miscarriages and abortions. 5 of them she gave birth, but none of them ever grew into adulthood because of her wickedness. I can tell you more about this woman. Who was this woman? Watch. Watch. She was born on the 6th of February, the same day Bob Marley was born. But Bob Marley was born in 1945. She was born in what? 1665 in London, England. And she died on the first day of August in 1914 in London. Queen of Great Britain and Ireland from 1702 to 1714. She was the last Stuart monarch. She wished to rule independently, but her intellectual limitations and chronic ill health caused her to rely heavily on her ministers, who directed England's efforts against France and Spain in the War of the Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714. 13 solid years of war. The bitter rivalries between Whigs and Tories that characterized her reign were intensified by uncertainty over the succession to a throne. Hold on. That's the woman. That's who she is. She was so sick. She was so full of ego. She wanted to rule alone, but she was sick and she couldn't. How did she get into slavery? Watch this. In 1713, an agreement between Spain and Britain granted the British a monopoly on the slave trade with the Spanish colonies. Under the Asiento de Negros, Britain was entitled to supply those colonies with 4,800 African slaves per year for 30 years. Kai, Jesus have mercy. What is this? 4,800 African slaves per year for 30 years. Multiply this number by 30. That is 48,000 by what? 3. The contract for this supply was assigned to the South Sea Company, of which Anne held some 22.5% of the stock. And she had what was known as the Queen Anne Bounty. That was a certain kind of coffers for a lot of money that was put in there from slavery. And they used part of the money to build England. That is why the Archbishop of Canterbury is crying and cursing the Church of England. He said something else. He said that slavery is what? Watch it. The same Archbishop of Canterbury. Slavery was blasphemy. Archbishop of Canterbury humbled after visit to Cape Coast Castle. Next story. I think we are joking. ASHAIMAN soldier decoded. Brrr. We don't have so much time, so we are going to decode him properly. Sheriff is here. Oh, Jesus. His parents in ASHAIMAN. He was stationed in Sunyani. He came to Accra for a course. He allegedly had a girlfriend in ASHAIMAN. His mother lives in ASHAIMAN. He didn't tell the mother that he was coming to ASHAIMAN. He only told the mother, I am coming to Accra for a course. But his life ended in ASHAIMAN. Now we are having so much information coming in. Some of the gory photos we can't show you. In fact, we can't. Some of the gory photos. You see, he went to ASHAIMAN. That's one school of thought, to see his girlfriend. They came out. Some people said, some people went in there to attack him. Another school of thought said, they came out after whatever he had gone there to do was complete. They were going out, and when they were about to depart, they decided to kiss. A jealous boyfriend who had been lurking in the shadows couldn't take it anymore. He had been trailing them all along, came up, hit this guy who was in uniform, used a knife on him, finished him up, whilst the girl cried and ran away. After that, in his bag, he had a laptop, he had his phone, they carried everything away and left him lying down there. Was it a robbery case? Or it was the case of a jealous boyfriend? The gentleman here, trooper, sheriff, is gone. Let's look at the story. Family or fling? You see the headline? Did he go to see family at ASHAIMAN, or he went for a fling in ASHAIMAN? You know what a fling is? The official and unofficial reasons slain soldier went to ASHAIMAN. A soldier identified as Trooper Sheriff Imoro was attacked and killed by the yet to be apprehended assailants in ASHAIMAN on March 4, 2023. Young boy. 3 days later, a military contingent armed with guns and batons and supported with armored vehicles and an helicopter descended on the part of ASHAIMAN where he was supposedly killed. It means that the soldiers were actually supported from above. They couldn't have just taken a helicopter and the ammunition and guns and just, no. Their superiors knew about this and commissioned that. An official statement has been issued by the military in which the Ghana Armed Forces clarified that the operation was authorized, as you were told, with the sole intent of arresting the killers and not as a revenge for the death. Hold it there. Is it the police that does arrest, or is the soldiers? Why didn't they engage the police? Look, soldier, the duties of a soldier are unique. A soldier does not shoot warning shots. A soldier does not have blank bullets or rubber bullets, fire for fire, live ammunition. A soldier, my brother, my sister, is not there for internal aggression. A soldier is for external aggression. War. That's why a soldier doesn't go to war with. That's why in our days we never saw soldiers on the street. So if soldiers are engaged in internal aggression, then it means that the police probably got overwhelmed and decided to bring in the soldiers. But in this case, no. Police sidelined. Look at what happened to Mahama. Major Mahama. He was killed. Up till now, we hear the matter is still in court. In fact, we know that the matter is in court. But what we hear right now is that those who have been arrested are given fried rice and chicken with a drink of their choice whilst they are behind bars. Yet the family is still mourning. The mother is devastated. In fact, Major Mahama was a family member of mine. The father is my uncle. I was the MC for his funeral. We all saw what happened. To see another soldier, again from the north, just die like this. Again, don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter whether it's from the north, from the east. I'm just saying that Mahama was from the north. This one too from the north. It's so sad. Every life is very important, whether from the east or from the west. So the soldiers probably thought that, no, the police are not aggressive enough. We have to show them that. But no, two wrongs don't make a right. Soldiers, if you reduce your level to internal aggression like this, you will be disrespected the same way a lot of police people have been disrespected. Today, Ghanaians don't fear police. In fact, police are not even supposed to be feared. They are our friend. Did they say soldiers are our friend too? No. Soldiers are for war. I know how sad and how terrible it is. Remember, you are there for the people. If you come down with helicopters and armored cars and guns at people who are not armed, much as we love soldier, we love you, we embrace you, we support you every time, this time around, we might just be forced to say that, no, you could have done it better. It's painful. I agree. Very painful. But again, if this matter is not handled well, it could cause a lot of problems for the country. I don't want to mention that word. That starts with a C. it could be more terrible. Come here. More terrible. Imagine soldiers feel that they are being killed, nobody is showing any love, the police is not able to investigate it properly, or the police are not even coming out properly on the issues. They are going to start attacking the police. And whoever crosses their line, hey, remember they have everything it takes to crack fire. Where would we be? We'll be in trouble. We don't want it to reach that level. We pray that the authorities will sit with the soldiers. You are supposed to protect us from foreign aggression. No matter how bad the situation is here, if the police can handle it, soldier is never supposed to be called upon. Did I make sense? Did I make sense? We hope that those who killed this person will be found and justice will be meted out to them. We hope that the innocent people beaten up in ASHAIMAN would find somewhere in their hearts to understand that they have just become the sacrifice, all because some bad people came out and did some stupid madness by killing a soldier. To God be the glory. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonemo, where we speak truth to power. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll return again tomorrow and do more. Until then, hey! Wayo!